What's going on, Faded Culture? It's Sergio Barron and we're back again with another tutorial. Today I'm gonna be doing a mid ball fade on my boy here with a textured crop top, and I'm gonna leave the fringe a little bit short towards the front. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. Let's get to it. Okay guys, so to begin, we're gonna section out the top into a horseshoe shape. That way we have a cleaner workspace to work with. Make sure your sections are nice and clean and even on both sides, so take your time when doing this. And next I'm gonna grab my 3.5 and debulk a lot of this hair. That way it's easier when it's time to come in and set in our guidelines. Okay, so to begin, I'm gonna start with the 0. That's the clipper with the lever closed. And I'm gonna lay down my first initial guideline here, starting at the temple peak area. And I'm gonna make sure my line kind of slants as I reach the back, and take this guideline continuously all the way to the opposite side. And when you're laying down this first initial guideline, you wanna make sure you take your time and make sure it's even across the whole head, since the rest of our guidelines are gonna run parallel based off this first initial guideline. Okay, next I'm gonna open the lever all the way, which is a half, and come up about a finger in length up high to lay down our second guideline. Okay, next I'm gonna slap on the one guard and keep the lever open and come up about another finger in length. Make sure you're continuously brushing away any loose hair. That way you always have a clean workspace and you see exactly where your guidelines are being set. Next, I'm gonna slap on the 2 guard, still keeping the lever open, which is a 2.5, and we're gonna start blending up a little higher. Only this time, we're somewhat kind of exiting the head as we reach the curvature of the head. As you see right here, I'm just kind of flicking outwards. A good way is using a comb. That way you can visually see where our head starts to round off, and kind of with that in mind, you could kind of flick out towards the top of the head. Next, I'm throwing on the 3 with the lever open, which is a 3.5, and we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did with the 2.5, only coming up a little bit higher. Okay, so here, anything else that sticks out, I'm gonna just come in with scissor over comb. You could also use clipper over comb just to finish taking out any hair that kind of hangs over the fade. Now as you see here, we're left with these 3 guidelines that need to be blended out. I'm gonna start with the 1.5 clip and kind of leave the lever open to about 3/4, and I'm gonna start working out this top guideline. Be sure you take your time when taking out these guidelines. I know some guidelines are a little bit more difficult to take out than others, but a good tip would be here to just kind of use the corners of the clippers to help blend out the entire guideline. And guys, if you feel like you need to open or close the lever a little bit more, then go ahead and do so. For me, the lever open to about 3/4 seems to kind of always do the job, but every head will differ. So if you feel you need to make any little micro adjustments, then go ahead and do so. Next, I'm gonna grab the half clip and I'm gonna leave the lever open to the 3/4, and I'm gonna start working out this middle guideline the same way we did with that third guideline. And you'll notice that when you're taking out these guidelines, you might somewhat be leaving another guideline right above, but make sure you're not going any higher and kind of just focus on this first guideline that you're taking out. We'll come in next with another guard to take out that other guideline that you might be creating. Next, I'm gonna throw on the one guard with the lever in the same position and finish taking out this middle guideline. Next, I'm gonna come in with the 0, lever closed, to start blending out our initial guideline. And remember, as you're fading, be sure you have that thought in your mind that you're blending the line out and not creating any new ones. So as you're taking it out, be sure you're like flicking the clipper outwards, using somewhat of a scoop motion. And remember, like I said before, when you're taking out this guideline, it might feel like you're creating new guidelines, but don't take the fade any higher. Just continue taking out this initial guideline, and right now we'll open the lever halfway to blend up a little higher. So as you see, we need to continue blending. I'm gonna open the lever halfway and continue blending out our initial guideline. And we're still gonna come in with the lever open to the 3/4 to finish blending out this guideline. So for now, be sure you're not taking the fade any higher with the lever in this position. So now we're gonna come in with the lever open to 3/4 and continue blending out this guideline. I noticed here on the right side of the head, we still had some dark areas that needed to be blended out. So I'm gonna come back in with a half clip, open to the third quarter, and kind of just try to pinpoint these little dark areas and continue blending it out. That way we have a smooth blend throughout the head. So now the blend is pretty much done. All that's left to do is to take out the rest of the hair that was left behind under the fade. And what I like to do here is start with the trimmer upside down, as this helps get a little bit closer to the skin. And I'll show you in a little bit why I do it this way. But yeah, you're just gonna continue to do this around the whole head. And as you see, you're kind of leaving a little bit of a guideline, but with the same trimmer, you're just gonna take it right out. And next we're gonna come in and take out the rest of this hair. And as you see, since we started with the trimmer upside down, when we're taking the rest of the hair out, you kind of see that we left a little bit of a faint line, and that just kind of help us determine how high to take up our electric shaver. That way we're not creating any more dark guidelines into the fade. So as you see here, that little faint line that was left behind, that's as high as we're gonna go up with our electric shaver. And when you're using the electric shaver, be sure to use it as it was a pair of clippers. So as you reach that little faint line that was left, be sure you're kind of scooping outwards, not creating any like dark lines anymore. And now I'm gonna dampen the hair. That way we can start with our shear work here. I'm gonna section out a middle section of the hair. That way we can lay down our first guideline with our shear work. And now that our guideline is set in, we're gonna start trimming the rest of the hair according to that first guideline. As you see here, you'll be able to see where our guideline is there to the left side. And we're just gonna trim away the hair to match that middle guideline. And make sure you're only pulling away sections that are about a finger in length thick. That way our trim can be as even as possible. You're gonna continue this method until you reach the front of the head, and then continue the process on the opposite side. And now to blend the fade onto the top length of the hair, we're gonna grab a section at a time, angle our fingers vertically, and trim away any excess hair that hangs off to the side. And now I'm gonna trim his bangs here pretty short, so I'll just comb the hair down and come in with my scissors horizontally to trim out any hair that hangs over his forehead. And so the bangs are not so straight, I'm gonna cut into them a little bit. That way it gives the fringe a little bit of some texture. And next I'm gonna come in with the trimmers to line up my client under his bangs. And next I'll follow that up with a straight razor to come in and clean out all the peach fuzz and line up the sides of the edge up. And next I'm gonna add my enhancements just to have my lineup pop a little bit more. And that's pretty much it for this haircut. Next I'm gonna just clean out his beard with the 3.5, blend it down, and then just line it up with my straight razor. And to bring out the texture in the top of the hair, it's really good to use like a matte pomade or a clay or even some kind of textured powder to really bring out all the little textures in the hair. So that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope y'all guys enjoyed it. Let us know y'all's thoughts in the comment section below, and also what other haircuts y'all like to see next. Be sure to give this video a like, and also don't forget to subscribe. Again, guys, my name is Sergio Barron. This is Faded Culture, and I'm signing off. Peace.